Okay, so here we are with part 2 on this worksheet. We're starting off with some alkenes. So, it wants us to start with drawing, but we're going to skip that. We'll come down here to just some straight naming, because that'll make sense. Here we see, for example, on this one, we see an expanded structural formula. I'm going to show you another way to draw it in a little bit, but we'll talk about this one first. So we're going to start here. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to identify the functional group. The functional group here, because we see that we have a double bond, is ene. So here's our functional group there. And now we find the longest chain involving that functional group. Just run it straight across the top there. We could have gone down this way if we wanted to, but we just didn't. We went across the top. So now we have to number them so that it gives us the lowest possible number on that functional group. Fun part here is on this one, we could number it from left to right. We'd have the exact same setup. So this is, if this was a mirror image of itself, it would be all fine. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have, so it's 4, so that means it's a butene, as we like to say. And the lowest number for that is a 2. So it's 2. Now we can see we started on the trickier side straight away, and that we have 2 methyl groups. We have one here, butene. And there we go. There's our correct answer. That's an incorrect answer. Dimethyl. I forgot that part. So we need to identify our structural groups, okay, our side chains, and not forget to put the number on the front to let us know how many there are. So let's move over to the right. And here we highlight our longest chain. I'm going to say we go that way. Okay, because there's our alkene. We number it so that has the lowest, so that the alkene here has the lowest possible value, 5. So that's a pentene. This is just our working here, so we're like pentene. That's like the 2. And then we isolate our side chains. Okay, and that's methyls, but there's 2 of them, so it's dimethyl, and it is 2, 4. So if we want to write this all out neatly, because this is all of our working, it would be 2, 4 dimethyl pent 2-ene. Okay, so now let's come at the top here. Back over to the left. Back and to the left. Okay, so here we have the longest chain. We have a choice we could make. We could go this way, or we could go this way. And the reason we don't go this way, the yellow one, is because that makes that a more complex issue. So we want to avoid that. Well, not want to avoid it, it's just that's what it is. So we go for the simplest possible. And the reason the other one would have been more complex is because we'd have a branching side chain off the back there. Okay, so again, it's an ene. So we number our parts. We're back to a pentene. And it's a 1. Remember, hyphen between the numbers. Now, we have methyls and ethyls. So, how do we number these? First, we have dimethyl, and it is 2, 4 dimethyl, and a 3 ethyl. Now, we name them in alphabetical order of the side chain. So it's ethyl, methyl. Okay. So 3. So we end up with a name like 3 ethyl, 2, 4 dimethyl, pent, 1-ene. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but the beautiful thing of this is if we were just given that name, as we will soon, you could build this molecule from that name. And that's pretty special. Let's move across to the side. Okay, so let's find our simplest chain, including the homologous group, as well as keeping all the side chains attached to it. So we could go like that, but again, we wouldn't have all of the side chains attached to it. So we don't use that one. Straight across the guts here. And now all the side chains are attached. We number it, remember, so that our functional group has the lowest possible number. So we're at a pentene, 2-pentene, pent-2-ene. Then we work out what we've got. Groups wise, we have one ethyl group up here, methyl group down there. So we can now name, and the methyl group is on. So he's a 4-methyl 3. So we put that name all together and we end up with 3-ethyl 4-methyl pent-2-ene. Okay. So we're getting there, right? Like there's nothing over the top crazy. Okay. A central backbone, our carbon backbone right down the middle there. And we have 3, well, we should number it first. Okay, so that gives us a pentene. And it's a 1-pentene. We have a bunch of methyl groups. 3, 4, 4 trimethyl. Don't forget that line in the middle. Now, if we put those all together, we end up with 3, 4, 4 trimethyl pent-1-ene. Remember, again, our focus is always to try and keep the homologous number. Now, if we're over to the next one, we go straight in the middle. Oh, let's not. Just for something different. Let's do that. Why not? It's still the same. And we have a butene. 1, 2, 3, 4. But-1-ene. Interestingly, butene can only be but-1-ene or but-2-ene. If it becomes a but-3-ene, well, that's just a but-2-ene from the other side. Okay, so, and we have 2 methyl groups, dimethyl. Now, if we put all that together, we end up with a 3, 4 dimethyl but-1-ene. Okay, last 2 to go. These ones I'm going to rush through very quickly without talking about them and see if you can follow along. Whew. Bit of a marathon there. 3, 4 diethyl 2 methyl pentene pent-1-ene. Okay, let's do the next one. And there we go. 5, 5 diethyl 2, 2, 3 trimethyl hept-3-ene. That's a mouthful and a half. All right, so I might make this part 2, and we'll have a part 3, and then I assume part 4 afterwards.